All right. Welcome back to All Cars, y'all. I am John. It is time for another of our Motorweek Retro Review reactions. This week it is the 94 Chrysler LeBaron convertible. I saw it. I knew I had to do it, so we're not going to waste any time because I got to talk about this one. Let's get into the video, but as always, grab yourself your beverage of choice, just caffeine today, and make yourself comfortable. Let's take a little trip back to 94 and, oh, this beauty right here.
Motorweek is made possible by Auto Value and Bumper to Bumper and TireRack.com.
Back in 1982, Chrysler almost single-handedly reinvented open-air motoring when it introduced the LeBaron convertible. Since then, the car has undergone many changes, but it remains one of the best-selling convertibles of all time. So with summer just around the corner, we thought this favorite American drop top deserved one more look.
Well, before they go on, it's squished here on the screen. Let's talk about the styling here. I absolutely love this car. Back in the day, I had a friend, and I think it was his father, might have been his uncle, but I think it was his father, got one of these. And I really liked it. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of my 83 Buick. I had a white 83 Buick, and it was a two-door. Of course, it was a hard top, but the same general long but narrow proportions. The LeBaron did have a few, I think, ugly duckling years there in the 80s, but as they progressed, it got increasingly better looking. It was certainly better looking than the LeBaron four-door, which was actually based on a different platform, although still derived from the K car. This platform and that platform were both derived from the K car, but they were separate platforms. Anyway, the point is, it got increasingly better looking, including having concealed headlights for a while, which I really liked. And then this redesign, I absolutely love it. And it's very generic. It's very boring, but it had a little bit of a Chrysler face to it. It had these narrow headlights, not these big ones, not just a really clean look. If you cut off the nose from the windshield forward, ooh, there's some Dodge Shadow, Plymouth Acclaim in there. But then the body line is super horizontal all the way back. And I like the tail lights too. I think these color matched wheels look awesome. I love this car. I really do. So let's see what else they say about it.
It's been a few years since the staff of Motorweek spent much time with the LeBaron convertible. While its once trend-setting lines have aged a bit since its 1986 debut, the soft-top LeBaron remains a graceful, good-looking car. 1994 sees the LeBaron coupe canceled. And
Okay, so check these wheels out. Man, I remember making models back in the day of probably like a Trans Am or something like that had these kind of wheels on it. I don't really care about wheels on tires. I don't care if it could be a hubcap, it could be an alloy. I don't really care for the most part. Every once in a while I see one and think, man, that looks pretty good. This just suddenly, right now, made me realize how much we're missing in wheels these days from manufacturers. Everybody kind of doing the same thing, and every once in a while you'll notice one, but this, oh, I love it. Oh, whew. And I also want to say, that one day I'm going to get enough information to do a video about the growth of grills. And if anybody's an auto designer, there has to be a word for this horizontal line that the bumper carries, right? And there was a little bit of time where they actually dropped down the bumper and made the grill just a little bit bigger. But it took a long time for them to actually break that line. and make the grills bigger. But I like what Chrysler did here, where you've got this grill above that's not outrageous and in your face, but then it almost continues underneath, even though it's probably just an intake for the radiator. Ooh, this does it for me. But the reason I paused the video right here is because I don't like this color. I don't know what this color is because I'm colorblind, but I don't like this color. I think it looks muddy. And I think it hides some of the lines. So,
Convertible line whittled down to a single model. It wears the GTC trim and carries more standard features.
and I love the taillights. I love the rear of this too. I like how the deck rises up just a little bit there, give you a little more trunk room. Can't wait to see how big it is. And then the taillights, they're nothing to write home about. They don't look exquisitely upscaled, but they just look good. A lot of the same styling touches that I like about like the Spirit and the Acclaim and the Shadow and everything else from this time period are all baked in goodness right here in a mid-size two-door package. This car speaks to me.
Chrysler has also instituted a one-price retail strategy, which actually lowers the base price to $16,999. But it hasn't changed the sturdy power-operated top. Equipped with a real glass rear window and defogger, it provides both solid weather protection and ease of use. A lower price doesn't mean less power either. Last year's base four-cylinder engine is gone, leaving this Mitsubishi overhead cam 3-liter V6 as the sole power plant. Output is a fine 141 horsepower and 171 pound-feet of torque. Chrysler also limited the choice of gearboxes. The 5-speed manual is gone. The revised 4-speed automatic remains.
I have to think that people buying this car, where it's not a little sporty car, but more of a, I don't want to say posing car, but, you know, a comfortable, you're just enjoying the air, right? I don't think it had too many takers with a 4-cylinder 5-speed option. So I have no problem with this powertrain. Duo, I don't love having a Mitsubishi engine in it, but I think it was fine. And, you know, sure, automatic, no problems here.
But we won't complain about an automatic ragtop that manages to sprint to 60 in 9.7 seconds and finish the quarter mile in 17.3 seconds at 81 miles per hour, more than adequate for the current convertible market. The LeBaron convertible has always boasted nimble handling, and age has not diminished its capabilities. While more body flex is evident than in some newer competitors, it's still plenty solid to dive through fast corners. The brakes are very solid, however, for a disc drum combination. 118 feet was required on average to stop our test car from 60.
Okay, I was waiting for them to say something about the body flex, about the body rigidity there, because this is an old platform that they just kept stretching and kept pulling and kept improving. While rather subdued in what they said, was very positive that, you know, maybe more modern ones are a little more rigid, but this is fine. And that performance, that 0 to 60, that acceleration, that quarter mile trap, fine. You know, we could be unfair and say it sounds a little slow, but not much. It sounds fine. You know, again, not a race car here, not a BMW, but that braking, wonderful. It was great. Not a lot of complaints here. I would buy this car.
And the optional anti-lock system helped give the LeBaron above average stability. Interior changes to the 94 LeBaron convertible include a new lower-priced leather option, which we can't tell apart from its more expensive predecessor. And more importantly, dual airbags are now standard. The hassle-free vent controls are now connected to a CFC-free air conditioning system. And an upgraded cassette stereo is also standard, though our test car came equipped with Chrysler's excellent top-of-the-line Infinity in-dash compact displayer. By trimming the line and upgrading equipment...
Wow, they just blew through the interior there. Fine. Yeah, I like it. I like the light colors. The seats look fantastic. The interior looks super, super comfortable. I like the design of the dash. It's not, I wouldn't scream, oh my gosh, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, but nothing jumps out at you and says, ugh, right? Maybe some of the plastics look a little cheap, like around the vents. And I think it's so interesting that in 94, they still hadn't, for this car, knobs for the HVAC. They still had buttons in there and sliders. Works fine and actually takes up a little space, just a little bit. It was very, very compact. I liked it. And we know in later Chrysler models, they're going to move to the knobs. But this is an older platform, and I always found on some of the K-derived platforms that the hood, the mounting points for the dash always seem to rise up relatively high. So this does look like a very tall dash to me. But they put a little binnacle right there. It does look like they put some buttons up here. I'm not a big fan of that, but overall, that interior looks like a comfortable place to spend time. And because of that, I have no problems with it.
But Chrysler plans to keep the attractive soft-top LeBaron competitive until an all-new car arrives for 1996. Considering its value and that most convertible buyers are more concerned with drop-dead looks than knockout performance, we have little doubt that the Chrysler LeBaron convertible will continue to be an American favorite.
You know, I'll say right here before I cut away, where the gear shifter is and where the markings are for PRND, right? Don't love it. That looks cost cutting to me. To make the plastic enclosure and just have cutouts with something underneath it, that's a little cheap and chintzy, but not unusual, I don't think, for its time. And then it looks like over here in the corner, the windows, maybe the remotes for the window, the controls for the windows are in the center. They didn't really talk about it, of course, and they didn't say anything about where the locks are. But hey, it boils down to, I like this car, and that price strikes me as reasonable. You know, I think our first Neon in 95 was $12,500, something like that, and a base Saturn was about $14,100. Well, for the SL1, the SL I think was 12 something. But with an automatic and a 4-cylinder. So if you're talking about 14 something for something the size of a Civic, and then you've got this with the power top and everything else, $16,999 does not sound like a bad price any way you slice it for something that ends up being kind of a mid-sized car. I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, I believe the Sebring reaction weeks ago and really lamented that we don't have cars like that. You know, sure, you've got the Miata, right? But what if you just want a car and you'd enjoy open air? It's kind of one of the places I am in my life. As you know, I think about cars all the time, and I want a lot of different things. I mean, I could go out and, you know, buy 5 cars, 5 different flavors of the week and my personality, right? You know, there'd be a small truck and there'd be a Jeep and there'd be a, I don't know, Cadillac, something like that. And I don't want a BMW convertible. I don't want an Audi convertible. Actually, I kind of do. But what about something more American, more basic, and simple fun? That's what I think I'm talking about here. Not a stripper, not a convertible Chevy Cavalier, but something in that mid-size category to just cruise and enjoy looking at. I love this car. It was near the end of its life, and the K car platform had really been stretched longer than it probably needed to. But I have very fond memories of this car. I remember it being comfortable but low, and that tall dashboard I vaguely remember. At the time, I remembered thinking my Buick fit me more, the way I just fit in it, the way I sat in it. But man, I miss this car. I have fond memories of it, and this one right here speaks to me. So also this Mercedes diesel over here, that's going to be a future retro review. There's a little sneak peek. So I appreciate you being here, guys. And if you had one, if you have fond memories of it, or if you hated it, or whatever, let me know below. I appreciate y'all being here.